Hey, let's go on a 2-day trip as an airline pilot. Now, I'm supposed to have a 4-day trip on this particular week, but Taylor Swift tickets went on sale on a Tuesday, and I was supposed to be working Monday through Thursday, so I couldn't do that. So I traded that 4-day trip for a 2-day trip. And the 2-day trip wasn't a real 2-day trip, kind of, sort of. I didn't fly out both days as a pilot. Day one was a deadhead to Philadelphia, where I am here, and I stayed in the airport hotel. And I love walking to hotels, no hotel van needed. Walked over to the hotel, had a pretty short overnight, and the next morning got in my uniform and headed back to the airport. Day two was just two legs. It was a flight down to Miami and a flight to Dallas. Again, 7 a.m. start, a little early, but not too crazy. And again, it's just two legs, right? Grabbed my bag and headed down to the airport. Being early, I needed coffee, and the main Starbucks in the airport had closed, so I had to go to C30. Issue was, I wasn't leaving out of C30, I was leaving out of B8. So first, I walked down to my gate thinking, I'm sure I can find coffee, because, maybe something beyond Dunkin' Donuts. There was nothing, Philly. There was no coffee down this concourse. So I opened my phone and placed a mobile order. Here's the schedule for the day. Again, day one was just a flight to Philadelphia, deadhead, easy flight. Day two was on a 321, a Legacy AA plane. Left at 8:23, arrived at 11:19. I had about 2 hours in Miami, time to get lunch and a snack. And then I had one flight on a 321 from US Airways from at 1:38, arriving at 3:55. Again, not too bad of a schedule. I was gone from home for 24 hours, a little bit more than that maybe. I got paid 10 and a half hours of pay. Now, my original trip was a 4-day trip paying over 21 hours. So I did lose 10 and a half hours of pay on this deal, but I got my Taylor Swift ticket. And if you know me, you know that's what's really important in this whole situation. Coffee in hand, I walked back from C to B. Again, if you live in Philadelphia, we got to fix the Starbucks situation. It's not ideal. I know there's other coffee places, but I like mobile ordering. This walk never gets old to me. I love walking down the jet bridge. It's just kind of gets my mindset from the airport regime to the, hey, I get to fly an airplane regime. I looked over the logbook and I met the captain for the first time on the airplane. Senior captain, super nice guy, flight 2570, Airbus 321, 181,000 pounds, almost 29,000 pounds of fuel. We're going to land with 9,500 pounds of fuel. There are the speeds. We had an alternate of Fort Lauderdale, but the weather's pretty nice. It was more for like a paper alternate kind of thing situation. Now, the airport in Philadelphia, it's pretty easy, but here's how everything goes. We left from gate B8. The little yellow numbers there, those are spot numbers. RAM controls those, not ground. We call the RAM controller. You see the number frequency there. The clear is to push back from B8 and into the alley. Once we're cleared from the alley, we start up our engines. We got in the nice conga line, and we were told to taxi down Juliet to spot 2. That's what we call ground. Ground does not control this area. It's all controlled by the ramp controllers. At spot 2, you call ground, and we're told to taxi runway 27 left via Juliet, Yankee, and Sierra. Now, once you're on Sierra, you listen to tower, and they line you up. We were told that we can go right away. We had no edicts or anything, but they line aircraft up on Sierra, Papa, P3, P2, Lima, Mike, Papa 4, Papa 5. You get the idea. In a busy situation, they can line them up all over the airport. But we launched out there actually early, captain's leg, and it was a nice day, but we got slowed down really early. We got this nice S-turn, and then we were slowed considerably all the way to Miami. Now, again, we were early. It's just annoying when you think you'll be early and you're not early. But it is what it is. We got to Miami, and it's kind of the backward situation there where we land and ground hands us off to ramp, and then ramp gives us a spot number. And actually, I call ramp before we call ground, because ground only cares about what spot you're going to. So we're going to spot number 3 to Delta 5. Pulled in Delta 5 and parked. I was then able to go inside, and then I got some more Starbucks. Don't judge me. I like my coffee. The Miami airport is one long terminal. I always get my steps in the Miami airport. Lots of walking. I mentioned earlier I flew an AA plane down. Well, next was a US Airways plane. And here's how you can spot the difference for Airbus only. On the left is a sharklet. Those are always Legacy AA planes. On the right is a wingtip fence. Those are always US Airways planes, except for a few Frontier birds. But AA on the left, US Airways on the right. And they do have different limitations, and they actually do fly differently. On the left, those tend to float more, but they can have a higher tailwind limit. On the right, those tend to sink faster on landing, and a lower tailwind limit. Anyways, also a difference on these planes is the headset plug. I use a Bose ProFlight 2, but in order to plug it in on a US Airways plane, I have to use an adapter. It was like $20 on Amazon. Goes from my GA plugs into this XLR thingy. Not a big deal, but it's needed. Except it's flight 1753, again, Airbus 321. A little bit heavier this time, a little bit more fuel, and we're arriving with a little bit less fuel because we had no alternate for the DFW airport. The numbers, again, a little bit different. These are all done by my dispatcher. My leg this time, they could think of from 8 right. And again, we left from gate Delta 38, push back, clear to spot number 8. Then we call ground, and they clear us via mic all the way down to 8 right. Now, there's a huge hot spot here, that little orange circle. Yeah, it's kind of an issue. 3 whole short lines for 2 runways. Yeah. In Miami, they use Papa and Quebec and November sometimes to line up planes for takeoff. It can get really complicated, and they tell you when to advance forward to make sure we all have good wingtip clearance and who gets to go first as far as that hotspot area. On that, very easy flight over to DFW. Now, oddly enough, we had a headwind on the way to Miami and a headwind on the way to Dallas-Fort Worth. Really weird, right? Weird jet streams going on. But took off, made a big left-hand turn and out over the Gulf of Mexico. This was a pretty easy flight. It was long, but it was easy. Landed on 17 center, my landing, planned the Mike 4 exit to the right, and we were thankfully cleared to cross 17 right at Echo Lima, and we didn't have to go what's called the Echo Sierra route all the way around the airport. Again, once we clear both runways, I call the ramp controller and say, hey, flight 1753 is on the ground, east side. They can tell they have radar as well in my airline operations rooms, but they give us a spot number. I tell ground, hey, we're going to spot 35, and then we were cleared straight into the gate Charlie 21. Put the plane away and grab my bags. Again, this is a 2-day trip. I did lose 10 and a half hours pay. I can make it up later on, but it was important for me to be home to get my Taylor Swift tickets. If you enjoyed this video, I'm going to have my videos kind of have hit on different aspects of my job so they won't all be the same thing over and over again. If you have any requests, put them in the comments. Have a fabulous day. And as always, thank you for stopping by.